day. Aye, how are you today? I'm just thinking there, and I was thinking back to Full Sutton Prison with a man I met, Archibald Hall, and the butler, the gentleman butler, he was called, an old Scotsman. He was an old jewel thief from a way back, and he was a butler, very elegant man, meticulously put together, and his mannerisms of that of a gent. And when he was 50, he went from an international jewel thief, which he was one of the best, disguised as his butler that got him into the places they had to be and around the people he had to be to get the best jewels. Anyway, he ended up taking the career mass murderer when he was about 56, 57, and he ended up killing 5 or 6 people, Incredible man. There is a book out about him, Archibald Hall, the gentleman butler, and that's about his escapades, of his life and becoming the murderer that he became. And he was dying in prison. He was sentenced never to be released, and the only thing he loved doing was his hooch, and he was a great hooch maker. Every day he had to have gallons of hooch and his puff and his boyfriends. And at the time when I met him, his boyfriend was this individual called Gary Griffin, who was doing a couple of lives sentences for his own crimes. I think he was doing a couple. He was doing at least one, I know that. My hands are all dirty. I've been working again on my picture, but I'm finding it very difficult just now to focus on a particular image. And here is Gary Griffin. He was a strange character. He was Archibald's bum boy, and that's how it is. He was his partner. And Archibald asked me one day, and he invited me into his cell, and he asked me if I would kill him. He wanted me to put him out of his misery, and begged me actually to kill him, to smother him after a night of exuberance with his boyfriend and a couple of buckets of hooch, and then I was to slip in and smother him and leave him dead, so he could escape his sentence, because he was in his 70s by this time, and he had no life apart from that in the kitchen that he made. And I was shocked, you know what I mean? And he asked me to kill him, and I said I would think about it, because there was a lot of other things going on that time. It was the same time when I had the problems with the London firm, when one of them set my cell alight, and Warren Slaney and Eddie was fighting. This was another lad who was proclaiming his innocence. Eddie, I forget his second name. He was a Welsh lad, and my pal Warren Slaney. And Warren Slaney, he was in for the Hamburger Wars in Leicester with Terry Burke, and they were doing 25 years each. Warren Slaney was a formidable man, and he spent all his time in prison fighting the Muslims, believe it or not, and he was very anti-Muslims and things like that, which is not my cup of tea, you know what I mean? But he seems to. He's still now, and no doubt he's in the system. He's fighting his case and he's innocent. But he had this terrible temper, and he took it out with fighting, and the Muslims became his chief focus, on which contracts went out in his life and vice versa and all that. And all that was going on at the time. And this Cockney firm who burnt my cell out, and when all the boys went down, ended up him getting stabbed, and then putting a contact out on me. And my cousin getting blinded, me setting the cell alight, fucking nearly killing myself. Total mad time it was, and a difficult time for me. But these things do happen in prison, some things just escalate so quickly. And all in that time frame where I was asked to actually kill the gentleman butler, Eddie Butler. Not Eddie Butler. He's my friend, one of the rabbi's, fuck's sake, man. I'll never be asked to do that, you mad? I would refuse anyway, but I would never be. Sorry, Eddie. No, Archibald Hall, a lot of people know him around the system. He's dead now. He died of natural causes a couple of years later. And this led to me and Gary falling out, you see, because one of the budgies died in the fire, and he had it down. It was my fault. It was my blame. And I remember coming back from the visit one day, because I lost everything in the fire, every single thing I owned, and just escaped with my life. Actually, the fire, and I remember in the fire, and I was in the cell, and it was just flames everywhere. I was just hopelessness, and I remember shouting out the window, my cousin Michael, "See you in hell, Michael!" And setting the place alight. I just lit 4 corners of the cell and just set it alight like I'm not a lunatic, and I'm catty cray, so they can't just come and open the door and let me out. It's a process they have to go through. Anyway, I set the place alight, and there's fucking smoke everywhere. And I always remember in the midst of this, and the smoke, and I was gasping for air, and the next thing, there was just this incredible, beautiful whiteness. It was like a white mist just descended all over me, and the most peaceful I've ever been in my whole life. And then I was in the midst of this inferno, and the peace I had with myself, I've never experienced since, nor before. But at that moment, it was absolutely beautiful. And I was just drifting away, and I remember going towards the light and harmony, total at ease with whatever was coming, my death. And then the next thing, it's the noise and commotion, and I'm looking up, my eyes open, and there's these helmets all around me, and there's pumping my chest, there's water everywhere, smoke everywhere, all the landing's flooded, all the lads are kicking and shouting, big blink and all that, "What's happening, big man?" and all that down the landing, and next thing I'm coming to, and my God, what a difference from the tranquility to the nightmare that I woke into. That was full Saturn. my cousin, he got blinded. He had a plot on him the next day, and they flung bleach in his face and blinded him sneakily, of course, but nonetheless it happened, which they got paid for years later. You know, as well with wee Tony Crab, the person I had the altercation with who ended up getting stabbed. He became a sort of enemy of mine for many years. He's dead now also. He was a gangster from London who had his own taxi businesses and all that, total crook. And they took a lad into the woods, and they cut him up into pieces and buried him over drugs and taxi things and all that money. And he put a contract out in me, and I remember I was in Parkhurst prison, and next minute I was in the exercise yard, and I was in the security box where we used to go and have a smoke. It's meant to be for the screws when it rains, but fuck, and they can stand outside in the rain. We're going in there where it's dry and have a joint, which we were doing. And I remember Big Archie and Big Rap Harper, and they were done with Blink and that for the robbery that they got 18 years for, and 16 and that long sentences. A minute away from millions. They were such a sad event for them not to fully go through and get the rewards of that robbery, because that would have set them up properly. And they're in this security box having this smoke, and Big Rab's like, "Oh, there's a contract, we've got a contract, you know what I mean, we've got to do for 1/2 ounce of heroin." I'm like, "Oh, fucking hell, what's happening here? I mean, who's the contract on?" And they turned around, having Archie, and looked at me, and they went, "You." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "We've got a contract, 1/2 ounce of heroin to kill you right now, stab you to fuck, cut the face right off you." I'm like, "Oh, that's a wee bit difficult." You know what I mean? These are my friends. And Archie has been a Rats, as he's called, Archie Cool. Yeah, a very good friend of mine. And he just looked at me and fucking laughed, and we divvied up the 1/2 ounce between us. And what happened? They battered the guy who put the contract in and accepted it in the prison from Krabby, sending it through the system, you know. But we ended up getting him for that one. And a few years later, I actually met him again in Kingston prison. And it so happened I was actually in the prison at the time, so he arrived in the prison, which it gave me the advantage because I was actually set up in there, and I had my boys around me. So when he arrived, and he was going into a cold prison, not knowing the politics or the setup, so I slipped down into his cell and had a word with him. Just say, "Well, there you go, here we are." And he just sort of looked at me, and he just sort of got on with it. Nothing came of it. I mean, we became pals and that for a while, you know. But then he got liver damage, kidney trouble. Ended up taking his life, you know. And he spent the last couple of years just deep in the foil as a heroin addict, in the system, rotting away and being exploited by the dealers, because he had a lot of money and influence, Tony, and he got a lot of visits with a lot of drugs in, and he's paying it out all the time to pay for his heroin debt. Pretty sad, really, but he was a good man. But these are the things that starting around, getting back to Archibald Hall, when I was actually asked to take the life of another person willingly. He thought it was a good idea because he had enough and he didn't want to do no more prison. But of course I didn't. And that resulted in, when I was coming back from a visit one day and my hands are full because, as I said, I lost all my property and I've got 2 bags in each hand. I'm coming back and that guy slipped out when I was going along, and my escort screws were just in front of me a bit, and he just managed to get me right in the jaw, man, with a metal bed leg, and totally knocked me out. I remember coming through and all weary and all that and disorientated and everything, and they're taking us down to the hospital. But all I'm worried about is I've got an ounce of puff, and I've just got it cheeked and it's hanging out my arse and it's ready to fall, and if it falls out my arse into the shorts, I'm going to fall down my leg, I'm going to lose it, and I'm walking funny, kidding on him more than I am, just to be able to clench my cheeks to hold onto that ounce of puff. And once I eventually got to the healthcare and sort of in a room, you know, waiting for the doctor, as you do, in the sort of healthcare help that you get, which is kicked in the room, a locked room, and you wait for someone to come, either scrape you up and pour you somewhere or stitch you up, you know what I mean, send you back for where you came from. And I managed to get the puff and bottle it all the way up my arse, you know, because once I was back down to the segregation where I was at the time when this incident happened, when I was coming back from the visit to the seg, you get well searched and strip searched and everything before and after a visit. So it was, you know, a carry on, and it had many consequences. This thing in full sudden, you know what I mean, with this individual actually and his boyfriend taking umbrage, you know what I mean. And he was more upset because he actually asked me to do what I did and not him, I think, and he thought whatever he thought, but he was a very envious and possessive individual, big lad. And I did say to him, you know, when he came down the block for something a week later, and I did shout out and I said, you do know if we meet, you know, it's got to get sorted, big man, and until that day I wish you well, but on that day I don't, so I'll leave it at that. And he's looking out the window, he won't come out in the exercise cage or anything like that, because he just wouldn't. And that was Gary Griffin, Archibald Hall's boyfriend. He's the only person that ever knocked me out in that whole sentence, and he had to use a metal bed leg to do so. You know, but I'll give him his due, he done it, and I'll not take that from him. And it was a good strike, well done. You done it in the midst of that security when I was getting escorted down to the dungeons. But yeah, I had my hands full, so really, you should have given me a chance if you wanted to go toe to toe, but you didn't. Anyway, that's in the past, and I wish you well, and I wonder if you're out, because I know Archie's dead now. Such memories, once you think and reflect the dark days of prison. Anyway, I wish you well, and I wish well to all those left behind the wire. Don't give up, and don't get involved too deeply where you lose yourself, because there is a future ahead for all, no matter how dark it may seem just now. Go for it, believe in yourself, be free. I salute you.